Hey everybody, Steve Bellman here. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome back to Master Music Now. And we're going to continue our series, our beginning guitar series. And this is going to be video 4. And today we're going to focus on a new chord. And I'm going to give you the smaller version of the chord and the bigger version of the chord. In our last video, we figured out the bigger version of the C chord, the G chord, and the G7 chord. So today I'm going to give you the smaller version of this new chord that we're learning, so you can play it with the smaller C, G, and G7 if you need to. But I'm also going to show you the bigger one in case you're able to play the bigger C, G, and G7. All right. And this chord is what we call E minor. It's a pretty simple chord. The reason I'm giving you them both together is because the big chord's not really that difficult to play, and it should be pretty easy for you. So, but you know, you'll have at least both of them, so you can make that choice. And what we're going to do is what we did in the second video when we played the progression, is we're going to play an 8-bar chord progression using whole notes, half notes, and quarter notes. And again, if you're not sure what any of this stuff is that I'm talking about, go look at some of the earlier videos because I break it down in the video. But what I'd like you to do is once we start playing the progressions, is we're gonna strum the chord, but we're also gonna count. I want you to get used to counting and knowing exactly how many beats a whole note gets, a half note, and a quarter note. So those are the 3 rhythms we're going to cover today. Okay? All right, great. So let's do this. Okay, so let's look at the chord, the first thing. So when we learned the smaller C, G, and G7 chord, we know that we played the first 3 strings, right? So that was the C chord, G chord, and the G7 chord. And then in the last video, what we learned is the bigger versions of that. So the C chord with using 4 strings, and the C chord using 5 strings. And then we learned the G chord using 4 strings, and the G chord using 5 strings, and then the G chord using a G7 chord, sorry, using 4 strings, and then the G7 chord using all the strings. This is actually 6 strings, sorry. So those were the chords that we did in the last video. Those were the bigger chords. So I'm going to show you the E minor chord, the small chord first. And again, it's only going to deal with the first 3 strings. So what I'm going to do is, it's very simple. I'm going to play the G string, the B string, and the E string open. And that gives me an E minor chord. So if I'm playing these smaller C chord, G chords, etc., then that would be appropriate time to use that smaller E minor chord. And again, no fingers on your left hand are required. It's just all open strings, okay? So that is the smaller E minor chord. Now, just like the other chords, we're not going to change anything. These notes are going to remain the same for the bigger chord. All we're going to do is we're going to add the 3 lower strings, okay? And we're going to finger 2 notes. So with this chord, just like the G chord, there's a couple different ways you can play it. You can play with your first and second finger, or you can play with your second and third finger. Most of the time I play with 2 and 3, but sometimes I'll play with 1 and 2 as well. And again, it's sort of a personal thing, and it's also sort of where the chords are going. You know, but I would encourage you to learn both of the options so that you can make those choices, okay? So let's look at the big E minor chord with 1 and 2. Now, both fingerings are the placement of your fingers are going to be exactly the same no matter if you're playing 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. The only difference is which fingers you're using, okay, for the E minor chord. So both are on the 2nd fret. You're going to take your first finger on the A string. So here's your A string. Put it on the 2nd fret. Then on the D string, which is the next string down, you're going to take your 2nd finger and put it right under first finger on your D string. Now this is a little bit tight, right? So my first finger is a little bit, if you see it's towards the middle, so that my second finger can fit on that same fret. If I'm too close to the fret, it's going to be hard to get that second finger without twisting our wrist, and we don't want to do that. So the first finger is kind of a little bit more, you don't want it back here because again it buzzes, but it's a little bit more in the middle so that that second finger can fit right underneath it, okay? So those are the two notes I'm pressing down. Then all I'm doing is I'm strumming all 6 strings. Okay? And again, you can hear it's a much bigger sound than this. Both are E minor chords and both are okay to play, but this is the full chord, all right? Now that same thing you can play, again, the same positioning you can play using your second and your third finger. So again, I use my middle finger or second finger on the second fret of the A string, my third finger on the second fret of the D string, and again, I just strum down. That gives me the E minor chord. All right? So either way is fine. I would encourage you to perhaps play both ways, but you know, a lot of this stuff is just personal. It's what feels best to you. And again, depending on what chords you're going to or coming from, you might want to make choices, different choices. So you can use both of them depending on where you're going with the chord progression. Okay? All right. All right, so let's do this. So we're going to do the same thing, like I said, as we did in the second video. We're going to start with a progression that's just whole notes. And when we play whole notes, we strum on beat 1, and then we count 2, 3, 4. We hold the strum, we let it ring, but we don't reattack the notes. So this is an example of just an E minor chord as a whole note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So notice that I'm strumming on beat 1. It's ringing through all 4 beats. But notice that I'm counting through the beats. And this is what I'd like you guys to do if you can while you're practicing, is to practice the counting as well. Okay? So this whole progression, it's all going to be whole notes for this first one. All right? So I'm going to put it up right now and let's look at the progression. So we have an E minor chord, then we have a C chord, and then we have a G chord. Sorry, I'm getting a call. We have an E minor chord, C chord, and a G chord. And again, we're going to play the big chords this time. If you're still struggling with the big chords, it's perfectly fine. You can play the smaller ones. And then once you feel comfortable getting the bigger chords, you can come back and you can do this particular video with the bigger chords as well. Okay, but I'm going to play the bigger chords. So here we go. Here's the count in. I'm going to give you 4 beats. And then we're going to start to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Here comes C. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, G. 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. There's a repeat sign. 3, back to E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. C chord. 3, 4, and 1, 2. Sorry, that was my fault. 4 and 1, 2, 3. G chord. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and off. Okay, so there you go. So remember that those 2 lines at the end and the beginning of that phrase, those 8-bar phrases, with the 2 little dots, that's a repeat sign. So that means you started the first measure, go to the 8th measure, and then go back and play it one more time. All right? All right, good job, you guys. Hopefully you were able to count with the playing. If you're not, again, just do the strumming and eventually work to the place where you can count it as well. Okay? So those are whole notes. Whole notes, again, get the whole measure. Strum it once, and then you count 4 beats. It lasts through the whole measure. The next rhythm now is going to be half notes. So half notes are half of whole notes. Whole notes get 4 beats. Half notes are going to get 2 beats or 2 counts. So you'll notice that there are 2 half notes per measure now. On beat 1, we strum, and then on beat 3, okay? And notice that the chords are exactly the same chords as we played before, but they're landing in different places because it's a different progression. All right, so again, I'm going to give you 4 beats, and then we're going to play half notes through this particular progression. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Here's C, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Here's G, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. E minor, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. We're going to repeat. Stay on the E minor. Top and top. 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3. Here's C, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. G, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. E minor, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and off. Okay, so there you go. Now, you guys probably noticing that with my arm, I'm pretending like I'm strumming each count, but I'm not strumming each count. I'm going down, up, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So for me, this helps me keep the time. It might not be for everybody, but for me, it helps me to keep where my time is when my hand is in motion like that. So if that works for you, try it. See if it works. But again, with time, there has to be flow. If there's no flow, then the time starts to get a little funky. So with this, for me, it gives me that flow, because even though I'm not playing all of the beats, I'm feeling them and I'm showing them in my hand. Okay. All right. Little sidebar there. Okay. So the last one that we're going to do then is going to be quarter notes. And that's going to be the third example. Again, I'll put it up. You can see in the progression, it's the same exact chords that we're playing. I'm not playing any chord that's different than what we've learned, but they're arranged in a different way. 1 bar of E minor, 1 bar of C, 1 bar of G, 1 bar of C. So this is a different progression. Every progression, no matter, there's only so many chords in the world, but every progression is slightly different, okay? So with this, we're going to play quarter notes, which means I'm strumming on every count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by the way, what I'm doing in my right hand is actually eighth notes, right? The downbeat is my down. In other words, the ones is my down strum, and then the eighth note is my up strum. Da, 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 da. That's how I'm feeling it, okay? Just to be clear. All right. So here we go with the progression. Again, we're going to play quarter notes. I'm going to give you 4 counts, and then we're in. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 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 E minor, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, G, and 1, 2, 3, E minor, 4, and 1, Okay, guys, so there you go. So even for myself, I'm noticing there's things I need to work on. And most of the things that you're going to struggle with are the transitions, especially in example 3, because the chords are changing quicker and you're strumming more. So the transitions become harder. And again, the most difficult thing you're going to face are the transitions, because it's going to affect the sound of the chord with buzzing or with, notes that you're missing. And it's also going to affect the time. So that's why we practice these things, right? To make them better. But those are the things to be aware of. And the other thing, the last thing I'll say is when you're doing these progressions, it's okay to, like this last progression, the one we just did, it's okay to just play the chord, look at the chord, and then look where you're going. I'm going to a C chord. So follow your fingers to see what the switch is going to be between those two chords. That will help the switch to be smoother, because sometimes there'll be common notes, not in these two chords, but sometimes there will be common notes. And then go from the C chord to the G chord. And again, you might go, oh, this G would be better to play, right? So those are the things that you can figure out by just breaking up, the transitions between each of the chords, okay? And then once you do that and you sort of play them and get them smooth, those transitions, then you can go back and you can play the example, the whole thing in time. And then you can see if, the transitions are a little smoother, all right? Okay, guys, there you go. So this is stuff to work on, stuff to practice. Remember, we never get there, so don't be hard on yourself. Just a little bit of practice. It'll get better. Have fun with it. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching and supporting. And God bless you. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.